Wake up YouTube and welcome to the very first episode of The Hunter Show, where every other week we'll be taking a look at what's new in competitive battling. So then, what is new in competitive battling? Surprisingly, a lot. This month saw the release of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and in them a lot of Pokemon got some pretty new moves. However, the biggest change they brought was the introduction of new Mega Pokemon, such as Mega Metagross, Mega Salamence, and Mega Galade. Now, it'll take a while for all these Megas to get tried out, and for the meta to adjust. However, because of this, I'll probably do an episode on them in a couple of weeks. However, one of them in such a short time since it's been released has already been quick banned from OU by Smogon. That Pokemon's name? Mega Salamence. Now, before ORAS was officially released, Smogon had an ORAS OU ladder where people could try out new Megas, and what they found was that Mega Salamence was extremely over-centralized. What this means is that teams were forced to run 2 to 3 dedicated checks, or 2 to 3 Pokemon whose sole job in life was to wait for Mega Salamence and try to stop it if it ever showed its face. Game Freak also increased Salamence's base attack from 135 to 145, gave it Aerialate, so now its return and normal type moves are even stronger and get stabbed, and they gave Mega Salamence enough bulk such that an Ice Shard from Mammothswine cannot even kill it. Clearly, even with all the new Megas introduced, Mega Salamence was still too strong for the OU ladder to handle, and Smogon quick banned it. However, Salamence isn't the only Mega from ORAS that has been banned. Which brings us to the main thing I want to talk about today, Mega-Rayquaza. But to talk about Mega-Rayquaza, we're going to have to take a look at the situation the Ubers tier was in before Mega-Rayquaza was introduced. For the longest time, people have actually been debating on Smogon about whether Ubers is a tier or simply a ban list. Here's the gist of the debate. Basically, tiers are like OU and UU, or standard and underused. They have clauses, they have rules, they can suspect test and ban Pokemon, and they're in major Smogon events like the Smogon Tour. However, Ubers has sort of been in the middle. Officially, when it was created, it was not supposed to be a tier. In Red and Blue, there were only 2 Ubers, so playing Ubers never really made sense. It was just Mewtwo and Mew. However, this generation, there are 50 Ubers, compared to the 56 Pokemon in Standard. That means that next generation, or in the future, it's possible that there are going to be more Ubers than OU Pokemon. This means that since a lot of people already play Ubers, and probably a lot more will join in the future, doesn't it make sense to turn it into a tier? On the flip side, tiers ban things, and philosophically, the Ubers is where you go to battle with things that should be banned, like Rayquaza, Arceus, Kyogre, Groudon. If Ubers becomes a tier and can ban Pokemon, where do those Pokemon go? Where do I go if I want to play with them? Now, this debate was really controversial, and a lot of people wanted to postpone it. So they kept postponing whether or not Ubers was a tier until a Pokemon came along that was so strong that it was so powerful for Ubers, they had to decide whether or not they could ban it. Better than Arceus, more game-changing than Kyogre. But Nintendo can't really make a Pokemon that's too broken for like Mewtwo, Arceus, Rayquaza, can they? It turns out they can, and they did when they made Mega-Rayquaza. And there are a lot of reasons why it looks like they just went over the edge with Mega-Rayquaza. I mean, its stats are absolutely ridiculous. It has a base 180 attack. It means it's tied for the strongest attack in the game with Deoxys Attack Form, a Pokemon whose offenses are so strong, they gave it like a base 20 defense just to balance it out. Additionally, it gets even better. Its base speed jumped up 20 points, which makes it faster than most Ubers, and it gets some ability called Delta Stream, which means that ice moves can't even O-hit KO it. It also got access to some spiffy new stab move called Dragon Ascent, and coupled with its new sick-ass look, Mega-Rayquaza is just completely over the top. But then, Nintendo just drops the ball and gives Mega-Rayquaza something that no other Mega in the game does. Every other Mega in the game needs a special Mega Stone to hold in order to Mega Evolve. That means they can't get the benefit of items like the Choice Band or the Life Orb. But Rayquaza can Mega Evolve as long as it knows Dragon Ascent. That means no Mega Stone, Rayquaza can hold the Life Orb, or Choice Band, and Mega Evolve, which is just completely broken. To put that into perspective, an Adamant Mega-Rayquaza with Life Orb, the second it gets a +1 attack boost, that means uses Dragon Dance once, it can 2-hit KO Lugia, the best physical wall in the game. Now, what this meant is that when Ubers was trying out Mega-Rayquaza, 70% of all Ubers teams ran it, and most games literally came down to who could get their Mega-Rayquaza out first, and who could Dragon Dance up first. Clearly, something needed to be done, and something was done, because Ubers was made into an official tier, and a new tier was created called Anything Goes, with no bans whatsoever for anyone that wanted to use any Pokemon, even Mega-Rayquaza. That's right, Anything Goes has no bans. Except for the endless battle clause, there are no clauses in Anything Goes. No species clause, no item clause, no sleep clause. And surprisingly, it's actually fun to play. Even though a lot of people run 6 Arceuses or 6 Rayquazas, 5 Reg, 1 Meg, it's actually a lot of fun. And because a lot of strategies that are normally banned show up, a lot of people have had to come up with cool, innovative solutions to stop that. For example, a lot of people tend to run 2 to 3 and often even 6 Klefkis on one team just to abuse swagger plus foul play. However, to counter this, one of the most used Pokemon in the entire tier is Numel. That's right, Numel or Numel. Because it's immune to Thunder Wave and Swagger, this little cup Pokemon is able to stop something that not even the Ubers can stop. Additionally, Darkrai is massive there because there's nothing stopping it from sleeping everything on your opponent's team, and because of this, almost every Pokemon in the tier has a Lumberry. The meta is extremely over-centralizing, I don't want to understate that, and there are only really like 4 Pokemon that almost all players use. Overall, it's a lot of fun, and I invite you guys to check it out. That said, that is all the time we have for this week, so thank you guys, and if you like this video, go ahead, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week on The Hunter Show. Peace out.